Alright, we're gonna play Abzan Citadel, because combo killing your opponent on turn 3 or turn 4 with this card is okay in Historic, but making a bunch of zombies on turn 4 isn't. Remember that. Every time you die to this card on turn 3, 4, or 5, remember that this is okay and Field of the Dead isn't. So, how do you kill on turn 3? We have 8 1-mana dorks here. You play 3 1-mana dorks on turns 1 and 2. Turn 3, you cast Bolas' Citadel. Then you cast Woe Strider off the top of your deck. Then you use Woe Strider Scrying to make sure you don't hit lands and brick off. Then you cast a bunch of creatures, including Blood Artist and Cruel Celebrant, sack 10 things and kill them with this. Your turn 3 probability is low. Your turn 4 and 5 probability is quite high, though, because it takes less variance, right? You can play things like Paradise Druid or Visionary to combo on turns 3 and turns 4. You have a chance to, like, cast Woe Strider before you go. Oh yeah, you have Phyrexian Tower in the mix that can help you cast things on turn 3 as well. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. All right, let's go. Let's jump out into some games here and kill some people here, hopefully. Let's do it. There's a third time I've had a deck pulled out for me in under a year. I'm scared to use Wildcard. And that's something else I tweeted today too, right? Like, the economy in Arena is incredibly unforgiving and predatory. So, like, when they keep banning these decks out from under people and they only give them wild cards for exactly the card that was banned, you leave people unable to continue to play the game. And again, if you'd like to play a game that cares about you as a player and doesn't just see you as a human vending machine for dollar bills, can't recommend Legends of Runeterra enough. Legends of Runeterra, the most expensive card type is $3 to buy outright. The cheaper card types are 10 cents, 30 cents, and $1.20. The average competitive deck costs $20 to $25 to build, and you buy just the cards you want exactly. You don't have to buy a bunch of random card packs and hope to get what you want. Okay, so obviously they're playing the enchantments deck. I'm going to board in Night of Autumn. Hype to death. Thanks for the year and a half. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Our deck's clearly busted, by the way, for those that were wondering. Vigilance. Thanks for the year and a half. I appreciate it. Niv, thanks for this refitting. Load my dashboard. I think I'm boarding in Vraska here. I think I want more interaction on the draw. I'm going to trim these Llanowar Visionaries. Maybe I'm supposed to go off some Citadels in this matchup. I can see that, especially if I'm boarding in Vraska. Keep my hits high. I'm gonna trim one Citadel. Leave me at 30 creatures. What if I only see me as a human vending machine for dollar bills? God bless. That's between you and your dollar bills. Who's surprised that the person that said, "Why do you keep playing Magic then?" was a gift sub? I'm not surprised that someone with a question that stupid was a gift sub. I think I'm bottoming Cruel Celebrant here. We'll keep the ramp into Collected Company. We'll keep the Night of Autumn as a little bit of interaction. Why, Jeff? Why don't you quit your job every time the distributor does something stupid, Jeff? That's the reasonable thing to do, Jeff. Just quit your job. You definitely shouldn't give Wizards feedback that the thing that they've done is stupid. You should just up and quit. You don't need a place to live. You don't need to feed your kids. Just quit, Jeff. You claim to dislike society, yet you continue to participate in it. I am very smart. Listen to me. Pretty sure we're just YOLOing the Citadel into a Spell Pierce. They might not even have that in against us post-board. Also, like, to the why don't you quit your job, Jeff, there is a reason why I am streaming Runeterra even though it makes me less money. There is a reason why I am trying to push my audience into the other game that I enjoy more, that's made by a company that doesn't constantly make boneheaded decisions and suck. That's the truth. I also, again, would enjoy continuing to pay my mortgage and feed my kids in the meantime, while I try to push over in that direction. Snipe-Pre, thanks for the 28 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. And, like, the other thing that people said in chat, too, Magic as a game as a whole isn't awful. Like, it's not terrible. It's just that all other things equal, I think Runeterra is as good of a game or better. So if I can eventually do the game that I think is as good or better, but managed by a company that treats me and their customers better, I'd prefer to do that. But in the meantime, while this is my job, I'm going to continue to treat it like it. So, we're going to sack this so they don't gain life. Oh, right! Phyrexian Tower is still fucking bugged. Good lord. It is unreal. This thing has been in here for like 4 patches now. How many patches ago was Jumpstart? How many patches ago was Jumpstart at this point? An unreal number of patches ago. Completely unacceptable. I'm gonna put the other Citadel back in on the plate. I'm gonna board out these Vraskas. Just be linear. We'll have Knight of Autumn as interaction. Thanks for keeping on after your gifts up, Alyoshi. Appreciate that. Almost positive. Thanks for the 10 months. This is why we have 4 Knights of Autumn. I'm gonna do this now to play around Spell Pierce. Magic is an incredibly low variance game that in no way resembles gambling. Only have 1 black source, which is a little awkward. Sounds good, Frozen Sky. I appreciate the biddies. I'll grab a list together for that. I played the sweet decks in last tournament yet. No, I don't automatically add the deck submissions like that into the deck queue, Snake Ape. So they get an extra prize. They get a store credit prize from Cool Sipping, but they're not automatically added to the deck queue or anything like that. Havocan, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yikes. Okay, so like really need a Phyrexian Tower, huh? Missing blacks 3 and 4 here. Like Amash, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This guy's flying, right? Yeah. So we're hoping to draw Tower next turn to potentially be okay. If they have Spell Pierce, we're just dead. Mila TK, thank you for the 55 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm probably supposed to scry a little bit there. It's tough because, like, if I scry beforehand and I hit the tower, I have less bodies to scry with afterwards. Yeah, the new Dragon spoiler is awesome for Runeterra. We're gonna build a lot of decks around that one. Yeah, for all the people that always come in and ask for our record, we can just tell them we're 2-1 now, even though we've only really played one match and we lost it, right? It's probably fine. Bottom of Temple Garden. Only need 1 green to get started. On a scale of 0 to Ugin -3, how excited are you to try out Elves? Oh, that's great. I think I'm supposed to hold this. They play Goose here, so they could be... Like, it's tempting to destroy the food, but they could be a Citadel deck as well. Hey, Osprey, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Could be mono green ramp, could still be a mirror. Third forest probably means mono green. This will likely be the first of many Uginings to be experienced over the course of the next couple of days. I don't think I'm using Priest this turn. I think I'm going to wait a turn. Now, why would you get wild cards for the Field of the Dead banned? You already got wild cards that was banned in Standard. Come on now. You can't give your players things, chat. That causes them to wring less money out for you. You can't just give things to people. Come on now. What part of the card acquisition model made you expect them to be generous? So I could start here. I feel like I'm probably supposed to start with Priest though, because if I hit Citadel, I'd rather Citadel. Do you want various ban reactions? I'd recommend opening my Twitter page. Just gonna pass here, because if they Ugin us next turn, I don't want to company till after the Ugin. Okay. Well, that should mean we're not getting Ugin this turn at least, so I can do this in response, then I can get a Scry with Woe Strider. Or if we like a Blood Artist, they lose an extra life here. Hit a little bit of both. I think I'd rather Woe Strider plus Visionary here, so I can get a card draw in. And then before we draw, I would like to sack this to get a Scry. Waiting on a Citadel. Well, glad to hear you'll still be around, Drowning Cow.
Behold, nature's true power.
Yeah, the Mana Crypt sleeve looks real good. For sure. Solid animation, too. Aren't they dead? Nope, doesn't look like it anymore. I think I just keep going here. Does the Gauntlet close today? I assumed that the Gauntlet was going to be open until... Can you link that, Axe, as a source? Can you give me a source on that? I thought the Gauntlet stayed open until the patch dropped on Wednesday. Yeah, double check. If it does, I didn't actually look. I just made an assumption. So if it does end today, I'll swap that. Game says 5 hours left. Okay, we'll wrap up with the Singleton today. Okay, thanks folks for checking that. I should have done that. Yeah, also, those two things had the same points anyways. I just assumed I had one more day. The US says 15 hours. Okay. Still needs to get played today though. Need to find Citadel or we can't win, so I'm gonna dig as deep as we can. We bottomed too earlier with the collected company, which feels real bad. So, again, I had someone else comment on this in a video the other day, and you don't need Citadel to combo kill them, chat. Well, you don't need Citadel's activation to combo kill them, so Woe Strider sacrifices your creatures, which, if you just get Blood Artist or Cruel Celebrant out, Woe Strider activations kill them. So, like, Karn's, like, kind of annoying, but it doesn't mean your combo doesn't function. It just functions in, like, a slightly different way. I'm gonna bring in Maelstrom Pulse for the Planeswalkers, and then a Midnight Reaper maybe. Knight of Autumn doesn't seem very good. I guess they're probably gonna have... Cage post-board. I guess they technically have Cage game 1, right? So maybe I am supposed to leave this in. I'm gonna do this and, like, cut half my cards that are bad against Cage. Let's do that. You have three Knights and 2 Pulses. You expect any archetypes to be more popular now that Field is gone? No, not really. I think decks like what this opponent is playing, and like Simic Ramp, will just fill the void that was left by that archetype existing previously. I think it will mostly be more of the same. So I can pick it for later. One mana short from doing it now. Fuck! God bless America. Pretty sure I'm scrying, looking for a land drop here. I think I'm sacking one more here to try and get there. See if they have like a naturalize here or not. So with Woe Strider, we just get to kind of cycle through our deck here. Knight of Autumn's great when we're cycling here too, because it gains us life. We pay 3 to play it, it gains us 4. This is how the combo plays out here. If you haven't seen this before, this can happen as early as the 3rd turn of the game. Yeah, definitely, Niv. Going on, crazy deck. Remember, YouTube exists too. If you're ever looking for something and I'm not live. We're gonna sack this before we accidentally kill ourselves. Yeah, I don't want Midnight Reaper. Something like this. Let's do that. Yeah, feel like we got a little bit unfortunate there, but we had enough scries to get through it. Yeah, this is fine. Not amazing, but fine. You have to click on your opponent each time. Yuck. Yeah. But, what matchup is Vraska for? It's for matchups where you expect a lot of cages, which could be this. It's also fine against control. You can turn your, like, foods into actual cards. Pretty good versus the mirror. Can you explain why it's good in the mirror match? I don't see that offhand. why that would be the case. So the 16 months. Smookaloo, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, opponent's playing Mono Green Ramp. I think I'm doing this to be able to trade with Anissa land. Yeah, I haven't played the Explore version. Someone sent the donation explicitly for the Abzan build. I definitely think I can see the Explore build variation being good. Being able to gain a lot of life with Wild Growth Walker sounds appealing.
Oh, I am gonna love tearing this place to the ground. Get him.
Feels like we're probably dead. This is going to run us down here pretty quickly. Vivian alongside her as well. For War Mother's Call. Sounds good, Niv. Thanks for supporting the Runeterra content. It's definitely my favorite at the moment. I think I'm just playing Knight as a 4-3. Yeah, I just don't get it. As someone who, like, loves interactive decks, like, playing against this feels so much worse than playing against Field of the Dead. And it's, like, not particularly close in my opinion. Like, Uro, Nissa, Ugin, I would much rather play against Field of the Dead than any of those three cards. Sounds good, Socio Penguin. Appreciate the tier 2 sub.
My, how you've grown.
Yeah, I feel like anybody who is expecting a lot of Scarab God doesn't really understand how to evaluate cards in different formats. Like, Scarab God was good in its standard format because the overall power level was lower. These non-rotating formats with deeper card pools, old things that were terrors in standard formats tend to not always be as good. And Scarab God's definitely kind of slow and clunky. It's, like, really good if it survives in a mid-range or control game, but there just, like, aren't a lot of games in Historic that are about playing mid-range or control. Thank goodness Field was banned. I've always wanted to lose to Ugins and formats outside of Modern. Yep. You're basically just going to get Troned in Historic now. Is what's gonna happen. And it's gonna be something. Yeah, I agree, Vonu. That's the fundamental problem with Magic designs for the last year. Is instead of ramp cards being like rampant growth, they decided to make every ramp card that they print also be a payoff or be a cantrip. So there aren't like the dead draws or like the real drawbacks that you used to have with ramp, historically speaking. I assume they're gonna eat this with village rights. Or both, yeah. In the case of Uro, it's literally both. Yes, Solemnity shuts off Nissa and Ugin laughs at Solemnity. Well, Solemnity shuts off Nissa making 3/3s. It doesn't shut off Nissa It doesn't shut off Nissa, what's it calling? It does not shut off Nissa me giving you extra mana. So, at least turn 3 cards required to wear pants in this format. Yeah. It doesn't shut off Nissa ramping them to Ugin to kill you. So I assume they're going to sack this to draw some more cards here. Just wait on a Citadel. Hey, thanks for 31 months, Sarah. So, small mistake here on the opponent's part, I think. They could have targeted themselves. Maybe they have a way to sacrifice this in hand still. But if they don't have a way to sacrifice it, they could have targeted themselves with the trigger. They must have a village right still, huh? I'm expecting them to use with the 2 mana. Huh. You think the opponent messed up pretty badly there? Yeah, it's not a super intuitive line, to be fair. I don't remember if the goose is summoning sick or not. Targeting yourself with Priest was a line even Arita missed for a while. It's funny because it's true. That's been pretty bad. This Abzan variation does not feel particularly exciting. It really doesn't feel like our deck's doing anything particularly powerful if we don't have exactly Citadel in play, and we don't really have ways to help us find Citadel other than Woe Strider, which feels awkward. The mana's also not stellar, as exemplified here. I feel like I'd rather have the utility for Mayhem Devil or the consistency from just being 2 colors. The variation that plays the Explore package, I think, is probably better. I don't even know if, like, Mayhem Devil's strictly worth it, but the consistency from the Explore package just sounds like it has a lot of appeal to it. Especially when your deck's all about getting to one specific thing. I feel like I'd rather have more resources to try and get to that thing. I'm gonna eat this food at end of turn, so if we draw Citadel, we can have more life to work with. Yeah, we're gonna finish this match out, but I think this is probably gonna be it with the Abzan variation. If not been a fan so far. Jund versions also play Blood Artist. Yeah, usually. I feel like I probably want Vraska here. I'm gonna trim on some of the mana dorks. This is 29 creatures, probably fine. Krigley, thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate the tier 2. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Those champions, easier to combo kill without Citadel. Well, I mean, we have Blood Artist and Cruel Celebrant, so, like, it's just as easy for us to kill without Citadel. The problem is you just, like, don't consistently have a critical mass of things without the Citadel. Like, your cards are just kind of individually weak, is the core issue. So, like, when you don't have Citadel, you don't have a critical mass of things. Sounds good, dude. Like, yeah, I plan to do a ton of Rune Tear after the new set drops, so if you come up with any ideas that you want to see, feel free to drop them to me via DM or email. I'll take a peekaboo at them. Unfortunate that we missed the 4th land tier, because now they're going to get to Thoughtseize my company before we cast it, but it is what it is. At least we'll have Vraska still. Open to Fade Croxa. Okay. Huh? Hey, congrats on hitting Mythic, Mr. Polite. I appreciate the biddies. So many birds. Thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. So, with the Citadel, I could kind of go in a couple different directions here. I think I'd like to still just play Vraska. Because, like, if they have any interaction, they, like, interact with my priest or something, I'm pretty far away. I'm going to plus her not sacrificing anything this turn. And then I think next turn, I can use her as an extra draw to draw towards the 6th mana source to get the Citadel into play. I feel like you end up having too many 3-drops at that point, Slim Wenzy. Like, fitting in, like, things like Visionary and Jadelight Ranger kind of clunks up the 3s already. Then, like, you had Mayhem Devil on top of it, and there's just too much there. Yeah, I think it's... And I talked about this earlier. I think it's insulting that they... in my opinion, the fact that they wrote 2 paragraphs about Field of the Dead and didn't mention Uro means one of 2 things. It either means, 1, that they don't get it, or 2, it means that they do get it and they think that they can lie to us about what the problem actually is. And it just feels really weird to... It feels insulting that that's the case. I feel insulted, because I don't think that they're too stupid to get it. I think they have a lot of really smart people that are working on their things. I don't think it's definitely a they just missed it type thing. Hey, Brackham, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Sometimes sacrifice is necessary.
So looking for a Woe Strider or just 10 permanents. 7, 8, 9. Got so close, chat. So close. Yeah, I even feel like the people that are like the people who are like corporate tinfoil hatty, corporate stopping them from making good decisions, I think that's probably nonsense too. I think it's probably pretty unlikely that corporate is intervening with what they are or aren't allowed to be doing. They're stealing my Cruel Celebrant here. Am I dead to their... I might be dead to their ribbons, huh? Could be possible here. So I'm going to take 4 from Priest of the Forgotten Gods here. And then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think they're 1 short. Yeah, I'm counting 9. Because this 2 mana is happening inside of combat. Okay, they had a breed to interact with my thing. Yeah, Sim always has a lot of viewers, Panda. It's a little bit high for him, but it's not too far off. Yeah, I think I'm definitely just eating the food here. The question is, do I want to use this other priest? I think the answer is yes. I think I do this, eat these 2, and then just cast this one out of hand. Risu, thanks for the 12 buds. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. So keeping me around. Feels like this Scavenging Ooze is an easy GG. Yeah, I dropped a couple of frames again. They're definitely a small amount of drop frames on my end. I might restart after this match, and it's gonna be the last match of this deck anyway, so I might restart the stream and try and toggle something I think might be causing issues. Vile Offspring, thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. I mean, Arena definitely is having its normal frame rate lag, but my connection definitely had a small hiccup there. What's going on, Vile? Thanks for the 2 months. What brought you back? I'm just excited in a way for the people who are upset about Field of the Dead to be upset about whatever else is going to be upset about them next, because really, anybody that thinks Field of the Dead is going to fundamentally change anything about this format, I think is in for a rude awakening. This was a good draw. We were going to have to sacrifice the elf to make black mana otherwise. I think the one statement I've heard uttered at me so much over the last few weeks that I really find frustrating as someone who does work to understand metagames, has a lot of gameplay experience, is people often talk about how if a card is format warping, it somehow deserves a ban. And like, there has never in the history of card games there's never been a tier 1 deck that you couldn't classify as format warping. That's just how metagames work. Like, if a card is good, it's format warping. Like, any deck that sees cards that see regular play are format warping because people adjust their decks to respond to specific things. Yeah, it really, the Field of the Dead band, in my mind, really feels like a case of people who think that Field of the Dead is holding back their bad pet deck, and they're going to be really upset to find out that their bad pet deck is still bad. I should be leaving up tower to sacrifice this in the event of things like what just happened there. Huh. Was really expecting them. Well, that works out. I guess it worked out that I didn't keep the tower up because I didn't have a way to sacrifice it. I was not expecting to get my Scavenging Ooze back. It's a happy surprise. Yeah, the mental gymnastics that people jump through to justify things like Muxus being okay, while simultaneously using arguments that are counter to that to justify why Field of the Dead need to go are really something. Ooh. Yeah, I think overall I was kind of whelmed by this configuration. Having watched people, this is our first time playing a Citadel variation on stream, but having watched other people play variations of it, I definitely think that this build felt a little underwhelming. I feel like I'd either rather have red for Mayhem Devil, but I think if you asked me to pick a deck that a variation that I would like to play more, I would rather play the 2-color Citadel build with the Explorer creatures. I think Jade Light Ranger, Wild Growth Walker, that's a good life gain engine to help you go off with Citadel, and I think it also, that also helps you find your Citadel with those Explorers when you don't have it yet. And this deck's just so much better when Citadel's in play that having Explorer creatures help you find it sounds ideal. All right, I changed something on my network configuration. I'm going to try and flip that back here. So we've been dropping some frames the last couple of days. So I'm actually going to turn the stream off really quick, and it's going to come right back up. I'm sure that still means we're going to lose like half the people that are here because that's how Twitch works, but the stream's going to turn off and it's going to come right back on. Be back in just a second. Thanks for hanging out. Don't go anywhere.